Hi, Debbie here from Apple Harvest Stitching, and welcome back to my Flosstube. This is a channel about cross stitch, and we are in full holiday mode here. As you can see, I have a couple finishes that I finally fully finished that I'm going to talk about, and I'm also wearing a vintage Christmas sweater that belonged to my mom, and I was one of the items that I took from her closet when we went through her things. And so I'm finally wearing it. Um, of course, now I live in a colder climate where I can wear it. So it's a lovely um, knitted sweater that she bought from, I don't know, a store in the 80s probably. And it's one of the items that, like, when I think about childhood Christmases, I think about her in this sweater. So wearing this today. So just some line repeats. So I've done a lot of stitching since we last spoke. I saw you a week ago on Sunday, and today is Saturday, December 7th. And I have done a lot of stitching. I did not stick to the plans fully, but the spin the wheel thing did like jumpstart my inspiration, which is fantastic because I haven't felt like the pull of a specific project in a really long time. So this week was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to tell you guys about it and show you what I worked on. So first off, I did do some of the items that were spun, and one of them was "'Tis the Season" by Blackbird Designs. My goal is to finish it this season, and I had started in the middle and worked my way over here to all the leaves, and I was trying to finish this half before I worked on the other half. And I am excited to say that I did finish that half. So let's see here. Oh my, I'm still getting used to this new setup and everything. So this half is finished, and what I did was I basically did this star right here, and I did a snowflake down at the bottom, and then I did all of the berries here, and then all the berries in the end, and that was it. That's all I needed to do. I am stitching the words last, so on this half of the page, the words are not done. This, of course, is being washed out quite a lot. In person, you can see the white very clearly. I'm stitching this on 40 count Valor by Picture This Plus, and I'm using the called for Belsois, I think. I think it's a Classic Colorworks silk. And so what's next to be worked on is to come over and start getting to the bird, which I'm excited for. And then what else did I do? Oh, so the stocking got spun, and the stocking I started like in 2019, 2020, and I did one session on it and then just never came back to it. And then earlier this year, I tried to go back to it, and the very first thing I did was stitch the wrong symbol with the wrong color, and I had to pull out everything I did, so it went away again. But this got spun, and I decided that I was going to figure out this, the scarf. Now, the scarf doesn't look too complicated in this photo, but in reality, I feel like this is one of the most complex parts besides the toys. The toys are going to be a lot of color change, but this scarf, it had 3 greens, 3 grays, a white, 5 reds, 2 blends, and a yellow. Like, it had so many different colors, and so I just really focused in on that scarf. And I am super excited to say that I got the scarf done. This is what kind of kicked my plans to the curb because I really just wanted to keep stitching on this. So I stitched it for like 2 days straight. And then on the third day, something else came to kick the plans again, which I'll get to. But what I was going to do was like, I did not want to stop stitching on this. I just wanted to keep going. And so I had finished the scarf, and some of the colors in the scarf kind of came up into other parts of the pattern. And so the next thing I was going to do, I was going to do the snowman's face. And after the snowman's face, I was like, okay, if I feel done, then I'll let it go and I'll do something else. But after doing the scarf, the snowman's face was going to be pretty easy. And so that was my plan until it got derailed by something else, which I'll get to. Another thing that was spun on the wheel was a new start, which was Steampunk Santa by the Cross Stitch Studio. Ooh, by Charting Creations. And I have my needle minder still on here, so so there's Steampunk Santa, and I started in that top left corner. And this was another project that I was like, I want to keep stitching on it to get some like good progress. And I will say I got like, doesn't look like a lot, but this is like 1,300 stitches or something like that. I was really wanting to finish filling in this star circle thing, which has like 30 colors in it, but I didn't get to it before I needed to switch to something else. So I'm excited to come back to this. I would like to get that corner done and kind of move into something else in here. This is being stitched on 22 count hardanger, and it's dyed into like a medium sage green by me. So this one's been fun, and I'd love to get back to this, but we shall see. Put this over here. And then I did stitch on Ex Machina, but with all of the plans and everything going on, I did not stitch on this every day. I think I stitched on this maybe 3 or 4 days. And I've been kind of pulling colors from this top corner and then just stitching wherever they went. And so all of these colors right now have been in the bustle of her dress. So I think last you saw it, I had finished everything to here, and then I was working down into here. So we're getting there. And let me share some stats on Ex Machina real quick. So first of all, Ex Machina is going to look like this. Whoop. And I am over here finishing up her dress, and then I've got a bit of the robot to do, and then that's it. So that's what she looks like, and let's let it load up. So the full chart has 282,600 stitches. I have stitched 265,377 stitches, which is 93.91%. So I have like, let's see, maybe 16 to 17,000 stitches left to go and about 6% left to go. So getting there, but I mean, I could stop everything I'm doing and I could just focus on this and I could get it done, you know, in a month or whatever. But then I most likely get burnt out, number one, on stitching in general, number two, on full coverage projects. And I want to enjoy stitching. So I don't want to put the pressure on myself to try and get something done just because it's close. It's close. It'll get done. It'll get done. And I'm enjoying stitching on it. But with the holiday season and everything, I've just kind of gotten into the vibe of the holidays. And so I really want to stitch on holiday and winter pieces. So with that said, oh crap, hold on. if you can hear my phone, I'm sorry. My sister's messaging me. Let me put it on Do Not Disturb. There we go. Okay, so I've been watching a lot of Flossmas, of course, and Vlogmas, and all of the holiday things. And so as I'm sitting and stitching and watching YouTube, I was finally starting to think about Christmas gifts. And if you've seen my most recent videos, like I recently moved. I moved across the country, and that is all I could think about. It was like a vortex of time of just like moving our lives from Arizona to West Virginia. And so Christmas gifts, it's just my brain hadn't gotten there yet. Like I barely managed to get to Thanksgiving and plan for Thanksgiving. So now we're like a week into December, and I've finally started thinking about the holidays. And I am, now that I'm in West Virginia, I'm very close to a lot of family. Most of my family is on this side of the United States. And so I'm going to be visiting family for Christmas that I haven't seen in a really long time. And so I was like, oh, I should bring Christmas gifts. What should I bring? And last weekend on my birthday, I went to my local bookstore and I picked up the Just Cross Stitch Christmas edition, which has tons of ornaments in it. And I remember, I flipped through it and there was actually quite a few items in here that I was really interested in. And so as I'm sitting here dutifully stitching on the items that I had spun on Sunday, I was like, I should stitch some of these as Christmas gifts. Like, of course. So I picked one out and I started stitching it immediately. And then as I was stitching it, I was like, I should stitch some for other people as well. And then I had to think about the logistics of, well, some of these need to be mailed, so they need to be stitched earlier, and then others that I can wait until like up until Christmas Eve. So I stopped the new one I was stitching on and started a different one. So I have two starts to show you and two others that I'll show you that I'm going to stitch as soon as those are finished. So the one I started and had to stop was, let me see if I can get a bigger picture. Really? How far back does this go to the... Sorry, it doesn't wanna do it. Okay. We'll do it like this. It's called A Quiet Place. And it's this little birdhouse with some birds on it. And so I am stitching that on a scrap piece of 40 count vintage country mocha. That is upside down. And I started bottom middle. Let's see here. Here we go. And I'm doing one strand of DMC over 2 fabric threads, and it's going to be tiny. Like, that's the width of it, those two snowflakes. I almost called them starflakes. That's going to be the width of it. So it's going to be a nice small ornament, which I don't want to impose on anyone. Whenever you're giving handmade gifts, and it's not like they asked for them, I like to try and make them small enough where they're kind of unobtrusive. So if they don't like it, they can just kind of put it away. But ornaments are, I think that's going to be like 2 inches wide. So that's the first one that I started, but then I stopped because I can stitch this till later. And the next one I started is called Santa's Helper. That is not it. Let's see if there's a better... Well, okay. It's called Santa's Helper. And it's this mouse over here holding a list, wearing a Santa's outfit. I know mice are very controversial, but the person I'm stitching this for is going to really enjoy it. And I'm stitching this on 14 count white Aida. And it's going to be about like, it's probably gonna fill this, and I'm gonna finish this one in a hoop. And I just went to town. I started this yesterday at like 2 p.m. and I just went for it. And it's been a lot of fun. There are some blends, so like the total uh the number of colors you need in it. It's like 20 colors. But it's that blending, that's that shading that kind of gets you that dimension. So there's going to be a lot of backstitch in this, and that's one of the reasons why I ended up stitching it on 14 count as called for, because it requires two different thicknesses of backstitch. It has one strand backstitch, and then it also has two strand backstitch. And that's going to make even further dimension in here. And I did want to stitch it on white, and the only other white fabric I had was a 46 count. And I didn't think that the two-stranded backstitch was going to be able to be very defined on a 46 count. So bigger it is. So that one's been fun. So I'm going to stitch on that until it is finished. And then I'm going to stitch, let me cover this up. I'm going to stitch this little guy, which is called 'Tis the Season Bonus. There's a larger, this comes from a larger chart that had a larger tray on it, tier, cake tier, whatever, tea tier. So I'm going to stitch this one next. And it's probably going to be on like a vintage country mocha as well. Actually, it might go on this scrap piece. I could do it up here. Because this one's small. This one's like, it's in a 40 by 40 stitch area. And then of course, a lot of that is just the stem of the cake tier thing. So I'm going to do that one. And then once that is finished, I'm going to finish up A Quiet Place. And then the fourth one is called Nordic Yuletide. But I am not stitching it in this color because I don't have it. It's probably going to be a tan color. And I'm not stitching the feathery pine whatever at the top. I am just going to do the snowflake, the bow, the ornament, and then the little snowflakes around the side. So it'll look like a pear, it'll be pear-shaped. So that one's going to be fun. So those are the 4 ornaments I'm going to stitch out of this year's Just Cross Stitch Christmas special holiday issue. So complete tangent. I didn't even own this until Sunday. Had no idea that I was going to do this, but I'm having fun with it, and I think that's the whole point. So I'm going to stitch those. This one, if I work really hard on it today, I actually might finish it today. I stitch on 14 count very quickly, and it's going very fast. Otherwise, I'll finish it tomorrow for sure. So we'll see how long these ornaments take to do, because I definitely, the 8 projects that I had put on my spin the wheel thing, like I do still want to work on those. The stocking, I definitely want to bring that back out and stitch more on that. I'm super motivated now that I've kind of unlocked the pattern. It took me some time to kind of get my eyes wrapped around the all the different colored symbols with the backstitch overlapping it, and just trying to like keep my place. But now I'm starting to memorize what the symbols mean color-wise, so that when I'm looking at the pattern, I'm better able to find my place while I'm stitching. So I definitely want to stitch more on the stocking because I want to finish it so that I can start the next stocking. I definitely want to stitch more on this so that it's definitely much more defined. I gave myself a loose goal of trying to reach 5,000 stitches before the end of December, and I have like 13,000 stitches now, so 13,000? 1,300 stitches now. Evie came to say hi. Come here. Hi. How you doing? Are you a good girl looking for trouble? You haven't knocked over the Christmas tree yet. Such a good girl. She's purring. I don't know if you can hear that. Oh, such a good girl. Okay. Um, and then of course, the Blackbirds 'Tis the Season, I definitely would like to finish that. So there's plenty to do, and I'm having a lot of fun. So that's fantastic. And also this morning I did work to, they're not fully full, some of them aren't fully finished, but at least they're mounted. So I did want to show you um Happy Christmas by the Prairie Schooler is finished. Um it's all called for except for the light green. That was supposed to be a tan, and I didn't like the tan houses, so I added the light green to it to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. But everything else is called for. So now this is finished, and I'm gonna put it up in my living room, so while I'm sitting and stitching I can look at it now. So yay, that brings me a lot of joy. And then we have just, it's kind of sitting in this, it's like a book holder, I guess, because it has like a little lip here for a book to be held open, like a cookbook in the kitchen. But I kind of backed this loosely on a piece of cardboard that was a punch out from a cardboard cat castle. So you have cat trees that are usually covered in like carpet or whatever. But at one point, when I first picked up Evie, I bought the cats a cat cardboard castle that had lots of levels to it, and it had like cardboard scratching pads and stuff, and you had to pop out all the openings. And so this was an opening, and I thought at the time that it would make the perfect mounting for some cross stitch, and so it actually fits this piece perfectly. So I just mounted it on the back of it. I don't have the fully visualized idea of how I want this completely done, but for now it's mounted and it looks fabulous. And then I've now have, like, this was stitched on a larger piece of fabric, and I hadn't cut the fabric because I didn't know how I was going to finish this. So now that it's finished, now that I've cut it out, and now I have some gray fabric that I can use for a new start at some point. So this is Hello Winter by Plum Street Samplers, and I stitched it on 32 count Stormy Night, I think it's called, by Zweigart. It's just like their Country Mocha, but it's a gray, so it has like a light bit of modeling to it. And I stitched it with the DMC. I think there were a few colors in here that were meant to be some overdyed cottons, but I used all of the DMC on it. So, yeah. So I love this. And for now, it's gonna sit on that somewhere in my house. I haven't decided. And then the third item I mounted is Peace on Earth. This is by Country Cottage. No. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it. Carriage House Samplings? I don't know. I can't remember. I'll put it in the description. I can't remember what it is now. They're doing the year of those houses, and they just came out with the 13th house, the Tudor house. Anyway, this is called Peace on Earth, and I stitched this on another piece of the Stormy Night by Zweigart, but this one is 40 count. So I stitched it with one strand of floss over 2 fabric threads, and I used the DMCs except for the red I just pulled a overdyed red from my stash that I had purchased just because it was an overdyed red. It didn't go with anything. So I love, love, love the way this came out. It's beautiful. So this will get framed in a square frame. I do not have one the appropriate size at the moment. So for now, it can just be propped up somewhere and look pretty. So I'm happy to have that finished. Um, so yeah, so I think that's everything for now. I'm just enjoying my holiday stitching and I'm enjoying Flossmas and Vlogmas and just continuing to get into the holiday spirit and trying to keep myself from purchasing Christmas decorations. Now that we live in this house, it's a large house, and over the last couple of years of several moves of moving from apartment to apartment to apartment, I've actually like downsized a lot of my stuff. So I don't have a lot of Christmas decorations, and in the little town I live in, everybody decorates for Christmas, like everybody, and all of their homes look beautiful. And I don't have anything outside the house except for a very woodland vibe wreath that I have on my door. So it's not very colorful. It has some red berries on it, but other than that, it's pine cones and pine. So it doesn't look very festive, and so I'm very much wanting to go out and purchase items to do up our porch, but at the same time the move was very expensive, so I really don't want to spend the money right now. And I keep telling myself that it's fine. You don't have to. Like, you have items that you love, and just, that can be for next year. So I'm just enjoying all the cheer that's around, and I hope wherever you are that you're finding some joy and love in your cross stitch. And if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. So thank you so much. Bye. Oh, why isn't this?